Well, good morning, everybody. I hope your Friday's starting off pretty well here and you're looking forward to a good weekend as we approach Halloween. What I'm looking at first this morning is the radar animation of the last several hours here. And we're watching this system that's coming through parts of Texas early this morning, and it's going to be able to spread some very heavy rain into parts of eastern Texas. The same system did actually produce some precipitation that finally got into parts of Kansas, and we need a lot more precipitation throughout not only Kansas, but much of the Midwestern part of the United States. The pattern we're going into remains quite active. If you got a chance to watch last night's in-depth report, you saw kind of what I was talking about there, but I wanted to just bring you up to speed with the latest data we got this morning. So first of all, here's the last 2 days of total accumulated precipitation. So I just wanted to kind of show how much we'd already seen out of some of these storms that came through Texas, and we're going to expect to see a lot more in this area here over the next 12 to 24 hours. Into parts of Kansas and Nebraska, there were a few places here that did pick up decent amounts, but there's still a large area of very dry conditions in through this particular pocket of the central United States. Now, as we just kind of look at where that first system is going to go, now let's just pick up at 7 a.m. this morning with the high-res NAM model and watch it slowly move to the east throughout the day today. So you notice in about 12 hours of animation, this system really just moved across Texas, and that's because it's cut off from the main jet stream flow. As we then get into Saturday morning and work on our way through Saturday midday into Saturday evening, it pulls into parts of Arkansas, through Louisiana, Mississippi, and over toward parts of western Tennessee. We could get some stronger storms out of this, which would be just accompanied along that frontal boundary that slides through. We then see that through the day on Sunday, it moves into parts of Missouri, southern Illinois, parts of Kentucky, and Indiana. It's going to spread some light rain here and then finally spread some of that light rain farther into parts of New England. Now, if you're outside of this, we still have wide open harvest windows for a lot of folks, and that's good because they had been tightened up by the system that came through last weekend into early this week, and now we've seen them open back up. So I was out driving around yesterday and saw a lot of folks in the field around where I live here in East Central Illinois, which was good. So if we just keep on that theme of harvest windows, the pattern is still very active. Okay, notice what's going on in the west. We can see we have multiple systems coming into the northwest, and one next week that's going to dive down into California. And I'm going to have to watch and see how much rain and snow we get out of this, because the models are attempting to put down over 1.5 inches of liquid equivalent in the Sierra Nevada, and that's critical. Now, while that's all taking shape and setting up from now through next Tuesday, Wednesday, there's a broad section of the country here that's going to be dry. And a lot of this is coming from the current system we just talked about. But notice how it fizzles out as it gets over here into parts of New England. To take a look at all of that, I want to show you first the setup, all right? Now, I want you to watch these troughs coming out of the Gulf of Alaska. All right, as they form, this is Saturday into Sunday. There's broad ridging warming up across much of the country here. And then we're going to watch on Sunday into Monday. See this trough coming into the northwest? This one dives down, and what I've been curious about just watching in the models is the pattern goes very high amplitude. See how big these waves are? And sometimes when that occurs, you can end up bridging the jet stream over the top of the low, and that cuts off the low. We talked about that last night, and it seems to still be there. Now, why this is so important is, now this is taking shape next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is that if this low gets cut off, it increases the length of precipitation over California, the southwest. It then increases the duration of lift coming on the lee side of the Rocky Mountains through low pressure development. And that could draw more moisture back into the central plains where we desperately need it. So cutting this off is a good thing if it can still progress. And you see here that the models are attempting to do that. Moving it late next week into the weekend, slowly over the four corner states. I like this look. And really it's just because of our drought picture right now. We have 82%, or actually, 84% of the country currently in some form of drought, and we need to be seeing an active pattern like this set up throughout fall and winter to start to fill in those gaps and to bring that drought monitor back down. So if we show you how that works, we've already seen through with the high-res models through Sunday. So here's where what's left of that low that came through Texas ends up. And then you can see that it spreads some light rain through New England. And while that's all occurring, the next system is diving into the Pacific Northwest. So let's pick this up on Tuesday morning and play through Wednesday morning. So see the system coming in through here. This is snow in the Great Basin. This is snow in the Northern Rockies. And you can see the moisture starting to pull its way farther to the south. Now, while that was occurring, not to forget anything here, we did have a low next Tuesday night coming out of southern Texas. And can you see it kind of rocking back and forth there Tuesday into Wednesday, possibly spreading some more heavy rain in this region. All right, this is the cutoff low by next Thursday morning early. And see how it just stays down there over parts of Southern California, Arizona, into the Four Corners states. And what I'll be watching for is the position of this high. Now, if we can keep this high in place here, that's a good spot to return that moisture into the central United States. It's warmer and drier in the southeast, but it certainly draws in that moisture into the central plains. And you notice that by a week from now, or more than a week from now, this is next Saturday, that low tries to come out of the Colorado Rockies. See it there? And it could spread some of that moisture farther to the west. That's the number one thing I'll be watching in the trends because of the extent of the drought in this area. But we're not done. I mean, you can see the next system already coming into the northwest. The pattern is active and it's moving. And that's why when we just take a look at how much precip, pause the video and take a close look at these numbers here, I tend to really agree with what the WPC is saying. All right. Now, what's important about this is our drought picture. This is the last 30 days in terms of percent of normal precipitation. So you can see where I'm trying to bring that moisture in. Look at the west. Look at the central plains. Look down here into parts of the lower Mississippi River Valley. That's where we're focusing in on those areas. Soil moisture map, just to give you an update here, the recent rain that came through here did make a dent in the soil moisture deficits, and we're going to see some improvement in this too with the next system rolling through right now. So that's certainly some improvement, but still quite dry in the headwaters of the Mississippi and pockets of the Missouri River as well. Now, just to kind of give an idea on the chances of getting that moisture back into Kansas, for example, this is the probability of an inch of rain through the next 10 days. So these numbers are still staying up here, at least in that 30 to 40% range. So we'll watch this trend over the weekend to see if it can continue. And finally, just to put kind of week 1 against week 2, you got the week 1 precipitation anomalies on the left and the week 2 on the right. So you can really see the evolution of that deep trough next week and what it's going to be doing through, November 4th through the 10th. So this is good early wet season moisture here. All right, the temperatures, this is great. We see the colder air around that low here today, but watch the moderation after this. That's Saturday. Look at the warmth across the northern tier of the U.S. into the Canadian prairie. Sunday, getting into Monday. Now watch the warm-up that's going to happen in the midsection of the country. By Tuesday into Wednesday of next week, we're looking at temperatures here that are in that 20 to almost 25 degrees above normal, while the trough digs into the west and really cools things off. And that's going to last all the way through next Thursday. The long-range models, that's day 5 through 10, the temperature pattern, and that gets us out to the 6th of November, and this is day 10 through 15, which gets us out to the 11th. So you can see how the models have bit into this pattern of frequent troughs coming into the western United States. Now, since we're talking about intrusions of cold air, I got to show you this. This is the latest update from the European model on for South America. And what I want you to watch is right here. This front, as we go through early next week, blasts north, clears through Mato Grosso, and then eventually gets all the way up to the Amazon. And it's pretty impressive to see a front stretch from like Patagonia all the way and move itself all the way here through the Amazon. Big high pressure cell behind this, and it just clears everything out. Now there's some concern about this. Take a look. There's some pretty cold air that's going to come in here with this main front. And you can see right about, looking through the first 5 days of November, that there'll be a large area that's going to be 6 to 8 degrees Celsius below normal, and parts of Paraguay here might be up to 10 degrees colder than normal. I still don't see major frost risk out of this. If that changes, I will let you know. But what's really got me concerned is the new long-range European was released. And just to show you again, the model has really doubled down on the dryness in Argentina, parts of Paraguay, Uruguay, and Rio Grande do Sul. The dryness you see farther to the north is likely due just to the bias of the next 10 days because that front clears through there and really dries things out, but I don't expect this to slow the rest of planting pace, for like Mato Grosso and central and eastern growing areas. So we got a lot to watch in terms of trends over the weekend, and I'll keep an eye on it and report back to you again on Monday. Have a good weekend. Thanks.